What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there are nuclear-powered warships patrolling every corner of the world's oceans, ready to strike any target on Earth within hours? What if one nation controlled more firepower at sea than the next 10 navies combined? And what if that dominance wasn't built overnight, but forged through a century of blood, steel, and relentless innovation? That nation is the United States of America, and its Navy is unlike anything the world has ever seen. But here's the question that keeps military analysts awake at night. How? How did the US Navy become so overwhelmingly dominant? Is it the ships, the technology, the sheer number of nuclear warheads? Or is there something deeper? A strategy, a doctrine, a calculated plan for global control that most people never see? Today, we're going to find out. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at the ocean the same way again. Let's start with the basics, the machines of war. The United States Navy currently operates over 480 ships and submarines. But raw numbers don't tell the story. What matters is what those ships are. Consider the aircraft carrier. The U.S. Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers, more than the rest of the world combined. Each one is essentially a floating Air Force base, capable of launching over 75 aircraft. Each carrier strike group includes destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and support vessels, a self-contained battle force that can project power anywhere in the world within days. But why does the U.S. need 11 carriers? Because it operates a policy of forward presence, meaning at least 3 carrier groups are deployed at any given moment, spread across the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Persian Gulf. The logic is simple. Presence is power. When the U.S. carrier appears on your doorstep, it sends a message no diplomatic cable can match. Now think about the submarines. The U.S. operates 70 submarines, including the Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, each one capable of carrying 24 Trident II nuclear missiles, each missile able to strike multiple cities simultaneously. These submarines are nearly undetectable. They prowl the depths in silence, invisible on radar, carrying enough firepower to end nations. And the destroyers, the Arleigh Burke class, are perhaps the most capable surface warships ever built. Armed with the Aegis combat system, they can simultaneously track and engage hundreds of targets in the air, on the surface, and beneath the sea. They are the backbone of the fleet, and the U.S. has over 70 of them. So here is the first part of the answer. The U.S. Navy is powerful because it is massive, diverse, and designed to fight in every domain simultaneously. But what is a fleet without the technology to match? Here is where the U.S. Navy truly separates itself from every competitor on Earth. Start with the Aegis system. Developed in the 1970s and continuously upgraded, Aegis is a computerized combat system that can track over 1,000 targets simultaneously and engage multiple threats at once. It is the nervous system of the fleet, linking every ship, every radar, every missile into a single, coordinated killing machine. Then there is the F-35C Lightning II stealth fighter, the carrier-based variant of one of the most advanced aircraft ever built. With its stealth coating, advanced sensors, and ability to share data between aircraft in real time, the F-35C gives the Navy an air superiority edge that no rival can currently match. But the real game changer is something most people have never heard of: the AN/BQQ-10 sonar system. Submarines are the great equalizer at sea, but the U.S. Navy has invested billions into underwater detection technology, towed arrays, fixed hydrophone networks, and advanced processing algorithms that allow its forces to detect and track enemy submarines with frightening precision. And then there is the MUOS,
Mobile User Objective System, a constellation of military satellites that provides secure, high-bandwidth communication to U.S. naval forces anywhere on Earth, even from deep underwater via specialized antennas. In modern warfare, communication is as important as ammunition. And now the U.S. Navy is testing directed energy weapons, laser systems capable of destroying drones, missiles, and small boats with a beam of light. No ammunition, no reload time, just unlimited shots as long as the ship has power. The question is, can any nation compete with this level of technological investment? China and Russia are trying, but they are decades behind, and the gap is not shrinking as fast as they hoped.
Now we come to the most important question of all. Why? Why does the United States spend over $200 billion a year maintaining naval dominance? Why does it need to control every ocean on Earth? The answer lies in a single concept: sea control. Approximately 90% of global trade moves by sea. Oil from the Middle East, electronics from East Asia, grain from South America. It all travels across the oceans in massive container ships and tankers. Whoever controls the sea lanes controls the global economy. The U.S. Navy's primary strategic mission is to ensure freedom of navigation, to keep those sea lanes open, primarily for American allies and trading partners. In practice, this means challenging any nation that attempts to restrict access to international waters. Look at the South China Sea. China has built artificial islands and declared much of the sea its sovereign territory. The U.S. Navy responds with freedom of navigation operations, sending warships directly through contested waters to signal that it does not recognize China's claims. These are not accidental confrontations. They are deliberate, calculated demonstrations of power. The same logic applies in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Fifth Fleet is permanently based in Bahrain, its job to keep the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil passes, open and free. And in the Mediterranean, the Sixth Fleet ensures that NATO's southern flank remains secure, countering Russian naval expansion from the Black Sea. This is the grand strategy. By controlling the oceans, the U.S. controls the arteries of the global economy and therefore holds leverage over every nation on Earth that depends on sea trade. That is every major economy in the world. But there is a deeper layer. The U.S. Navy is not just a military force. It is an instrument of diplomacy. When a hurricane strikes a friendly nation, it is often a U.S. carrier group that appears offshore with helicopters and medical teams. When a rogue state needs to be deterred, it is the sight of a carrier battle group on the horizon that delivers the message. As former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger famously asked during the 1973 Middle East crisis, "Where are the carriers?" Power at sea is presence. So what makes the U.S. Navy the most powerful in the world? It is not just the ships. It is not just the technology. It is not just the strategy. It is all three, combined, coordinated, and backed by the largest military budget in human history. It is a force that has been built over a century, tested in 2 world wars, refined through the Cold War, and battle-hardened in every major conflict of the modern age. But here's the question I want to leave you with. Is that dominance permanent? China is building carriers. Russia is testing hypersonic missiles. Iran is deploying swarms of drones. And in Washington, budgets are being debated while adversaries are accelerating. The ocean has always been the ultimate arena of power, and the competition for that arena is heating up. If you want to understand how these rivalries are reshaping the world, subscribe to War and Military History. Every week we go deeper into the history, strategy, and geopolitics that most channels won't touch. Hit that subscribe button
Drop a comment below. What do you think? Can any nation challenge the US Navy in the next 20 years? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next documentary.